2026. Welcome to the Ignition News. I am so glad to be with you this morning. A little bit early today. Got to get off right at 10:04 for an important phone call. Oh, Lord. Lots to talk about today. No major breaking stories, but I have some commentary and some thoughts that I think you should be aware of. It is so good to have everyone. We are streaming live on Spotify. Looks like our stream's a little bit slow. That's okay. We're on YouTube, Twitch, somewhere else I can't think of right now. Substack. Hello over on Substack. Of course, on TikTok as well, while we can still stream on TikTok. I do want to say we got a lot of traction over on Spotify, so I appreciate that. So please do consider following us. And if you're boycotting Spotify, then you can just go follow on Apple Podcasts or YouTube or wherever. But it's important that you're not just relying on TikTok, because TikTok is becoming a propaganda weapon of the United States and Israel. Now, I can tell you this because at current moment, my Mossad agent is not working. So we've got a little bit of a window to be able to let you know that. But yeah, the information sphere is wildly controlled. And it's kind of crazy. I think the craziest thing about everything that's happening right now is the fact that we don't know what's actually happening in the Gulf region. We're only seeing snippets and little tiny bits of information, and it's kind of wild. So yeah, but I do want to say I'm going to flash forward. So follow with me if you can. It is March 7th, 2028. We are in a small town in the South, somewhere maybe in Kentucky. A house. It is a quiet Saturday morning, and mom and dad are sitting having a cup of coffee. It's a crisp spring air. There's a little bit of snow still on the ground. I think it snows in Kentucky. That's not important for the point of the story. Mom and dad go back to look at what they're thinking about planting in the garden this spring, when suddenly they hear the sound of footsteps, a diesel engine. And the door is kicked in, violently exploded by a percussion grenade. It's a smoke bomb. Federal agents storming the house. Mom and dad scream. They can't imagine why this violence has been brought down upon them. Of course, this violence has been happening all over the country. It's been happening in the Middle East now for 2 years. Dad, 65 years old, thrown to the ground. Mom handcuffed in the couch, screaming, "Why are you here? Why are you here? Why are you here? What are you doing?" The red MAGA hat hangs on the door frame, but the federal agents storm the house nonetheless, coughing from the smell, the nostrils filled with the smoke grenade. "You're under arrest. Where is he?" they say. "You're under arrest. Where is he? Where is he?" Mom cries, screams. She thought that the red hat on the wall would protect her. She thought that she would be safe from these federal agents, but she thought wrong. Why? Because they were hiding their son in the basement. Why? Why were they hiding their son in the basement? Because we are now on the ground in Iran. And all these MAGA men and women in their red hats, they thought it would protect them. They thought, oh, it's okay. They're not going to come for us. But you see, the free passes were not for you. The free passes, being set up as an officer at Cyber Command, getting a medical excuse, getting a doctor's note, a travel note, that wasn't for you, because the president despises you. That was for the wealthy people. That was for the donors. That was for the people who bought the crypto. And as mom screams, "He's in the basement!" It's too late, because they've already arrested him. And he's not going to jail. No, jail would be the way out of war, of course, naturally. That would be the easy way. No. He is going to a special kind of boot camp. A boot camp for deserters. Your son, is going to a boot camp for men who tried to avoid going to this war. The most dangerous part of it, the front lines, the expeditionary forces, the ones who climb the mountains. A special kind of boot camp. You thought your hat would protect you. You thought looking the other way would protect you. You thought seeing and pretending that this wasn't a terrible idea. You thought that just voting for the price of eggs, I'm an economic voter. I vote for the economy. I don't support his policies, but the country was going in a really bad direction. And now your son is being carted off by federal agents to a special boot camp for people who betrayed the draft. Why the draft? Because not nearly enough men and women could be recruited through natural means, even when they called them back, even when they pulled them back into service. There was not nearly enough men and women to clean up this mess in the desert. This mess in the desert started for another country, fighting another country's wars. 40 years of this, $8 trillion of this. By now, it's $10.2 trillion. And your little fucking red hat on the wall didn't protect you when they kicked the door in and they found your son in the basement. Then if you thought for one little minute, if we get arrested or he gets arrested, they're going to put him to jail for deserting, he at least won't have to go to the war. Guess what? You're wrong. Because the biggest sin against this administration, it's not being loyal. Your son is considered a traitor now. You are considered traitors now. You will go to jail, yes. But not your county jail, not a federal jail. The first thing you will see before you see your trial, before you see a judge in a quick trial, in a joke trial run by a military officer who has no business being a judge, is a warehouse, a giant warehouse, 45,000 square feet. At one time in your community, you were promised that it would be an Amazon fulfillment center. You were told it would be jobs, community, tax dollars, infrastructure, roads, highways. But now it is a box to hold human beings. And that is your new home. And of course, because you deserted, because your son deserted, because of the quote cost of finding you, the quote cost of sending your deserter son off to war in the desert, your property, your house, your car, it is seized and sold. A loyal red hat, a loyal supporter, they got a great deal buying your house. Of course, the basement was kind of yucky. It was being lived in for a year and a half. Nothing a quick coat of paint can't finish. And that was the last time anyone in your family ever saw you. As you were being put in a dingy white van, being driven off to a warehouse that was purchased in 2026, that you were told was going to be an Amazon warehouse and bring you jobs, and now it is your new home. For as long as it can be. Welcome to America. Good morning, everyone. I'm sorry for the extended monologue. You're really going to want to go listen back to that if you're just catching up now. That was just, it kind of came to me. The Ignition News is your daily news source in all of the information you need to know without the amygdala hijack. I must admit there was a little bit of an amygdala hijack right there. Someone on Substack says, I also have a young son. I've thought about this for the last year. Yes. I don't have a ton of stories today for you. But that view into the future is increasingly a reality now. The structured stories I wanted to cover today, they seem pale in comparison to the disinformation coming from us about this quote-unquote war. This is the administration now. We are 1 week into this illegal, unconstitutional war, a war that was supposed to last a couple of days, brought to you by the administration that said it could conquer COVID in 2 weeks, 2 weeks to flatten the curve. Do you remember this? Stay inside, 2 weeks, get some DoorDash, 2 weeks to flatten the curve. Now that same clown car is running a war. But the thing is, all of the talented people, all of the functional, competent individuals who have the fortitude to say no, to say, Mr. President, that is a bad idea. No, perhaps we shouldn't drink bleach. Perhaps we can't insert a light into you to kill the virus. All of those people are gone. It is Saturday, March 7th. I had a bunch of structured stories today for you, but the reality is you all see and know what is happening. We're 1 week into an illegal war. Gas prices are up. In some places, I've seen gas prices up 85 cents. Do you know what is down? Presidential polling, our first story, YouGov, says that the approval rating is 38%, which itself is insane. Who are these people? Did you see the glimpse into your future that I provided you? Nonetheless, that approval is cratering. Here's what the White House doesn't want you to know. Among Latinos, adults under 35, it's down to 30%. Democrats now have a 5-point advantage in the midterms. Not that we're resting our shoulders on the Democrats. By the way, if you're just tuning into the show and you think that because I'm against fascism, that I'm automatically a Democrat, first of all, that says more about Republicans than it says about me. Second, I am no fucking Democrat. Welcome to the Ignition News. Our next story, the $166 billion theft. As you know, the president was told specifically by the Supreme Court that he is not able to wage his illegal tariff war. And theoretically, hypothetically, although the Supreme Court did not have the balls to tell him what to do about the illegal tariffs that he has already collected, nonetheless, there are lawsuits happening right now, companies like Costco. And did you know that Mario, it's a me, Mario, I'm a suing the president. It's a me. I'm a suing the president. Nintendo is suing the administration as well. You have already paid this illegal tax. You have already paid the price increase of this illegal tax. And guess what? The companies, if they are successful, they're going to get that money back. Do you think that Target or Walmart or Nintendo or Sony or Amazon is going to send you a check for the tariffs? I got a bill from FedEx 2 weeks ago for the tariffs. Something like $200 for a tariff bill. I called them up and said, talk to the Supreme Court. Likelihood is that the president just stole all of that money and you're never going to see it back. Now, some wealthy donors, billionaires, Jeff Bezos, I kind of think Jeff Bezos is going to get a refund check. The Dow Jones had its worst week since October. The S&P finished down this week 1.3%, the NASDAQ down 1.6%. U.S. crude spiked 12% on Friday alone, $91 a barrel. Ooh, do you remember this? $100 a barrel oil? Iran has cut production by 1.5 million barrels. The Strait of Hormuz is essentially a calm, flat sea right now. And what is the plan? We're going to have military ships, $2 to $5 billion military ships. Someone find out how much is the most expensive military ship. So what's the plan, Petey? You're going to have battleships escorting oil tankers within range of Iran's ballistic missiles? That's the fucking plan? Of course, the labor market is destroyed. 92,000 jobs lost in February for the first month ever that I have seen in the last 3 years. We actually lost healthcare workers. This administration is so incompetent that we lost healthcare workers, almost 20,000 of them. We are teetering on the edge of a financial collapse, the collapse of global security. Oh, and guess what now? Dario over at Anthropic says, I think maybe the AI might be conscious. Oh, that now too. A conscious AI on top of everything else. And of course, naturally, why does he think it's conscious? This is very human indeed. He said it's because they think that the AI has anxiety. That has got to be the most real example of why that thing might be alive. They're not like, no, it's asking, it's asking important questions about humanity. What is life? What is life all about? Where's my position in the universe? What do these numbers mean? How am I? Am I alive? Am I real? No, the robots have anxiety. That's how you know they're real. I believe it. Of course, when the president was asked about gas prices, he said, if they rise, they rise. NBC News reported on Friday, 2 U.S. officials, a former official and another person with direct knowledge, that Donald Trump has privately expressed serious interest in deploying U.S. troops on the ground inside Iran. The White House has not denied this. Karen Leavitt confirmed that ground troops remain an option on the table for the president. J.D. Vance wrote an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal in January 2023 and endorsed the president specifically because I'm reading right from it. In Trump's 4 years in office, he started no wars despite enormous pressure. Operation Epic Fury, as it is formally known, has no specific end date, and now we know that the president is seriously considering sending your brothers, your sisters, your sons, your daughters to Iran, a country that has mountains on 3 sides and an ocean on the other side. As Marjorie Taylor Greene said, this is a direct quote, "Make America Great Again was supposed to be America first, not Israel first, not any foreign country first." Congress has blatantly failed to utilize its war powers resolution. It could have stopped this today. It could have stopped this last Saturday. They could have gotten in the room and said, no new wars. I have my banner on TikTok finally. When did that happen? When I quoted Marjorie Taylor Greene, a sitting member of Congress, a former sitting member of Congress? The TikTok says, share responsibly on live. Confirm sources before sharing and engaging with content. And the final piece there is the information war. Our own government, our own phones, our own technology. We are at war with the truth in real time. Do we have to start using FM radios? Do we have to get little soup cans with string on them? Get one to go all the way over to Iran to find out what's actually happening? Little soup can with a string? The political coalition that put the president together is cracking in real time. The stock market is falling, jobs are falling, the economy is in jeopardy. One of America's major financial institutions stopped withdrawals yesterday over certain amounts. Why is that? Let me pull up this story. I forgot to cover this today. BlackRock limits funds withdrawals as redemptions rattle private credit. BlackRock said on Friday it has limited withdrawals from a flagship debt fund after a surge in redemption requests and as investors' worries mount around the $2 trillion private credit industry. In other words, so many people were trying to take their money out of BlackRock's fund that they had to stop allowing people to withdraw their money. On a Friday afternoon, what do you think is happening? BlackRock. So many people tried to take their money out of the fund that they had to stop letting people take their money out of the fund. Do you remember the last time this happened? Silicon Valley Bank. What happened to Silicon Valley Bank? It doesn't exist. BlackRock, the massive financial institution BlackRock, said, "Oh, can you wait till Monday to cash the check?" Have you ever done that? Have you ever said to someone, "Oh, I can write you the check today, but can you wait till Tuesday just to cash it? It's there, the funds are there, but I just worried about my insurance bill coming out early or something like that. If you have to cash it, it's totally fine, but man, I would really appreciate it if you could wait till Tuesday to cash the check." Did you ever say that? Nobody writes checks anymore, but remember that back in the day? Just can you wait till Monday? Or when someone would say, "Oh no, it's okay. We won't cash the check for 2 to 3 business days," and you're like, "Ooh." Ooh, okay. That's BlackRock today. I promise you, they're having a rough weekend. Somebody was supposed to go to Aspen, and they said, "You're gonna get your ass bent in the fucking chair and figure out where we're gonna find this money." The key word today is collapse. The thread of every story we discussed is collapse, in case you didn't notice. Yet, if you're like me, one would think that if you saw this institutional collapse, this collapse in trust and integrity, the collapse of the institutions of the American government and the financial institutions as well, you might think that you would be panicking right now. But we've been walking through a car wash. That's what we've been doing. Can you imagine that? That's the best metaphor I can think of right now. We just walked through an active car wash, all of this stuff being sprayed on us just left and right. The foam's getting slapped around by the rubber washing things, the water, the soap. We're just walking through a car wash right now. And where one would think that you would be concerned, I find myself excited because we've built something. We have built a preparedness structure for this. We've built community. And whether we have to find you with that tin can with the string, whether we have to find you on some other app or some other place, our community is clearly stronger than this tyrannical government. I didn't get time today to talk to you about important things that happened. But today is actually when Alexander Graham Bell filed his patent for the telephone. In 1926, the first transatlantic communication. Now, here we are, screaming into the void, trying to keep in touch with each other, trying to figure out what is real and what is not real in the middle of an active war. But we have each other. And somehow we came out of all of this stronger. Somehow we're walking into the car wash and it will be unpleasant. It will be messy. But I feel that on the other end of it, we're going to walk out of this clean. I'm not sure that I see it yet, but I can feel it. I appreciate you so much for supporting what I do. I sometimes fail to take credit. I like to defer. I like to defer credit to the whole group, which it's definitely due, and definitely thank you to the moderators who keep this space free for us to have this conversation. But I have done something. I have built something, and I'm proud of it. And I can't quite see the end of this, but I can feel it. If you didn't catch the first part of the show, please go back and find it on one of your favorite platforms, and please listen to that 10-minute section of the show. Find out what happens 2 years from now in some small town in Kentucky, some family that claimed, that lied about why they were voting for this president. Go listen to it for me, please. Go listen to the start of the show. I appreciate you, everyone. I really do. That is the show today. It is March 7th, 2026.